welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Natasha Martinez, and this is the daily show where we give you all the latest news in the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Joining us today is Jon Campea.
Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, coming to you from right here at the Collider Video Studios here in Burbank, California, and I cannot wait to talk about the greatest comedy in the last 50 years that I got to see last night.
Also joining us is Jon Schnepp.
I'm so jealous. When I got here, Campea just started telling me all about it, and I was riddled with hurt and anger and bitterness that he got to experience this, and I haven't yet. And probably won't.
Also joining us, Mark Ellis.
It's National Beer Day yesterday, but it really should have been when you, me, and Jeremy got to go to the theater last night.
And also joining us, Jeremy Jahns.
Welcome to National Coffee Day, folks. From Seattle, we love you. We're not going to talk about that comedy because it's not a comedy. It's actually agony.
And as happens sometimes, guys, something drops after we get all of our graphics packages put together, and a new little trailer dropped actually just this morning. Natasha, tell us about it.
Paramount Pictures, Skydance Media have released a new IMAX trailer for Jack Reacher Never Go Back. When Major Susan Turner, played by Kobe Smulders, is arrested for treason, Tom Cruise's Jack Reacher must break her out of prison in order to uncover the truth behind a major government conspiracy in order to clear their names and save their lives. Jack Reacher Never Go Back hits theaters on October 21st, 2016. Jon, what are your thoughts on the new IMAX trailer for Jack Reacher Never Go Back?
Love it. Absolutely love it. I've been excited. Look, I'm one of those guys that I really did enjoy the first Jack Reacher. I thought it was a really good time. I've been looking forward to this one. To me, the trailers are not disappointing. Now, this new IMAX one, there is a lot of common footage with some of the other trailers that have come out. The punch through the window is just brilliant. But there's also a bunch of new stuff in there that I really enjoyed. Like everything that comes out for this movie, I'm getting more pumped for. I think this is going to be really good. I think this is going to be a great movie. I'm excited for it. Mark, you saw the trailer. What did you think?
I saw the trailer, Jon. I can't talk about it on this show, though, because I talked about it at the meeting, and I never go back. I do not go back ever, just like Jack Reacher doesn't. I like this trailer, and we did get to see some new footage. Look, I'm locked into this movie, even though I did not like the first Jack Reacher. I thought it was a big misfire, but this is selling itself as a Tom Cruise action movie, so I could, of course, give the first one a pass, because the second one looks like what I want to see. What I wanted to see from the first one, Jon. I know you love the movie, but he hitchhikes in this one.
Jeremy, what do you think of the trailer?
I'm still laughing at Ellis's delivery. I love you, my man.
Hitchhikes in this one.
He hitchhikes the guide to the galaxy. Yeah, and what I love about it is, all right, if I had a nickel for every time I saw a movie that was supposed to be a 90s action throwback movie that actually ended up sucking, I wouldn't need a job at all. I'd just sit at home and drink copious amounts of coffee and take bubble baths and Coppola wine. But this one does look really good. I mean, he has a couple of lines in there. I'm like, you don't find that outside the decade of the 90s. So as long as they commit to that and actually do this one better, because I wasn't a huge fan of the first Jack Reacher. Bring it on. A lot of footage that I've seen before, but it's Tom Cruise. The guy's 50-something. The guy's still a huge action star, box office pulp. I mean, no one else is. He's like he's the man.
I can just see now, moving into the few years from now, maybe, depending on which direction Mark Ellis's life takes it, his future one-night stands, when the ladies then say to him, all right, will you call me? And he'll just hand him a copy of Jack Reacher, Never Go Back.
Yeah, never
Can't
go back.
do it.
My
Never
gift
go
basket
back.
is the Blu-ray to Jack Reacher Never Go Back and a Chili's gift card, because I'm not an animal.
I hear like a Meatloaf song, and I don't go back. It's like, I don't know why I keep hearing that. Maybe it's the 3 times you're out kind of thing, or I don't know. But I'm really excited about this. I love the first Jack Reacher. I wish Werner Herzog didn't, spoilers. Anyway, Werner Herzog was awesome in Jack Reacher.
I love Werner Herzog in everything.
But I don't think he's going to be in this one, but everything I've seen in this trailer makes me want to punch people through windows. So I can't wait to see it.
If there was an over-under on the chances that Meatloaf would be referenced today on Movie Talk, and you took the over, you just won. All right, what's our first official story of the day?
Okay, according to The Hollywood Reporter, Star Trek Beyond and Fast and Furious director Justin Lin has closed a deal to develop, direct, and produce a feature based on the popular Mattel toys Hot Wheels. Lin will team with Legendary Pictures to search for a new writer to take on the script, with THR saying the project is still in early stages of development. A release date has not been set. Jon, what are your thoughts on the Hot Wheels movie directed by Justin Lin?
Well, on one hand, you think this is a perfect marriage of ideas. The director and the property, this could be really cool. Now, Mark Riley, who's our fact checker, Mark, I don't know. I haven't heard personally. I don't know if they've said yet if this is going to be an animated film. Is this going to be a live action film? Because look, if it's going to be live action, I'm actually a little bit more nervous because are we just going to get another Need for Speed? Are we going to get another one of those? Is this going to be another Fast and Furious movie just under the title of Hot Wheels? Ultimately, I don't care really. All I really want is a good movie. I don't care if it looks like another movie or not. Give me a movie that's good. This does seem like a good match. So on its surface, I'm okay with it. Schnepp, what do you think?
I love it. It has to be live action. They've already done like an animated series this year, so I doubt it's animated. I'm sure some of the cars are going to be CG because it's called Hot Wheels. And the thing about Hot Wheels, you have to have those tracks. You have to have those incredible tracks, so it has to be kind of built around an incredible racing competition, would be my guess. So it'll take it out of the Fast and the Furious and put it more into a racing kind of type movie, which I'm excited about. I'm not a big Hot Wheels fan now, but as a little kid, I collected Hot Wheels, so I'm looking forward to seeing the film.
Mark, what are the chances this is going to be a romantic comedy?
I mean, maybe Maybe my parents didn't like treat me right, but I never had the track with the. I mean, we had Matchbox cars; they had the track. The Hot Wheels, you could just buy standalone and just crash into GI Joes. I mean, it was so much fun to play with, and I didn't realize this till yesterday. But Hot Wheels, Mattel claims, are the highest-selling toys in history. They made 5 billion units since 1968. They make 10 of them every second. So take a breath. We just made 20 Hot Wheels, guys. I mean, this thing is all over the place. They want to make a Barbie movie. They want to do a He-Man Masters of the Universe movie. So this makes perfect sense, especially the marriage of Justin Lin, like you're talking about. He not only has done Fast and Furious movies, he reinvigorated that franchise along with help from The Rock and Vin Diesel coming back. But I like this idea. I don't love it every time they make a movie out of a toy. I think this one could have some legs, and I do think it's going to be live action.
Jeremy.
Well, if there was a movie that was going to compete with that Oscar bait movie Monster Trucks coming out, I think this would be the one. Yeah, I agree with you, though. It is the perfect marriage of it. I would like for it to be live action, and if you don't want to wait for it, just take your Fast and Furious Blu-ray, scrub off the Fast and Furious title, put Hot Wheels on it. I feel like you have the movie now. You know, like where are they going to go that Fast and Furious didn't go? So it'll probably be an official race event that they do, but it sounds good, but I'm always wary when there are movies based on toy properties that never really had a story to begin with. It's like it should work. It's like it's a racing movie, but again, they don't always nail it. So I'm worried, but if it sucks, well, I've lost nothing.
Right,
so
and the Lego movie, at least like with Legos, there's so much you can do in the world of Legos because there's all different types of buildings, and Legos actually have characters. Matchbox car or Hot Wheels never really came with people to play with. It was just the car, and you imagine a driver in there. So that is going to take some work.
I'm holding my breath for my GoBots movie. Really, that's where I am.
Battle Beast.
Quick. What was the name of the GoBots evil leader?
I have zero clue.
Zemtror.
Zarkon.
Zeinblith.
Psykill. Ooh. He was a motorcycle.
Psykill.
Schnepp and I were on the same page.
Psykill.
We assume that the bad guy in GoBots is going to have a name that starts with Z.
Zemplin. Zordax.
Hey, you know what? But here's the thing.
Zymlon.
Don't hold your breath for like I know they've announced it, Justin Lin, but let's not hold our breath. They've been trying to get this movie going for years. McGee was attached to it at one time to direct. It went from one studio to another. Like, look, attaching Justin Lin sounds like a big step in the right direction. Mattel does have their first movie coming out with Max Steel, which we're going to be talking about a little later. So at least now the seal's been broken. So maybe we'll see some progress in this. It'll be interesting to keep our eyes on. All right, what's next?
In a new report from Star Wars News and Net, Disney reportedly plans to unveil the final Rogue One trailer in October, 2 months before the film hits theaters. The site details that during a presentation at the Kino Expo International, a marketing director of Disney's Russian subdivision revealed that the Rogue One final trailer will be attached to Doctor Strange, which opens October 28th in Russia. Most outlets now claim the trailer will hit online soon after. Mark, do you think the next Rogue One trailer will feature a lot more Vader?
Oh, that's a great question, Natasha. And as much as I want to see the world's worst father on screen again, I don't think you're going to see too much of Darth Vader in the new trailer. You're going to get more than what you got than that just added on breathing. I think you might see like one full visage of Darth Vader. Maybe he ignites a lightsaber and makes John poop his pants. I don't know, but I think you're going to see a little bit more of Vader, but not too much. We might hear him speak, though.
Do we want to see more Vader in the trailer? It depends. I can't remember. One of you guys brought up a really good point yesterday in that if Vader plays a significant role in Rogue One, like none of us are expecting Vader to have an hour of screen time in Rogue One, granted. Right. But if Vader is only going to have like 5 minutes of screen time or less, then I don't want to see much more Vader in the trailer because I don't want the trailers to misrepresent what the movie is going to be. Because remember when they were doing the third prequel film, Revenge of the Sith, the marketing all surrounded Darth Vader. Darth Vader was in all the print ads, it was in the trailers, blah, blah, blah. You only saw Darth Vader for about a minute.
No!
And a minute of it was that. Yeah, I mean, and that was it. So I felt, you know, on top of everything else about the prequels, I felt very ripped off and gypped. So if Vader's in it for the movie for like 5 minutes, maybe give us one more little look at him in the trailer, but don't have him in the trailer for like half of it, because now you're going to set our expectations if he's not. Now, if Vader is in the film for like 15 minutes plus, then go to town. Put as much of him in it as you like. Schnepp, how should they approach this?
You know, I want to see Vader, and I want to see him sooner than later. So I'll take anything they give me. You know, to be honest with you, you know, I'm sure you will. Maybe we'll get one line. It's like, I want that traitor, or some, you know, something about, you know, get Jyn Erso or whatever.
Let's boogie.
Yeah, let's rock. Poop. All of a sudden, everyone's pooping.
Do you want to get rocked?
I don't
with
know.
Vader. Here's the thing, though, that we all have to remember is that I don't think that Disney has done a bang-up job of showing the common folk out there that Rogue One is not a sequel to The Force Awakens. There's still some confusion because, again, you only saw Darth Vader at the end of that little snippet. The key with this trailer is to clearly let us know that this is not a sequel, that this takes place before A New Hope, and one of the best, easiest ways to do that is to have Darth Vader have some sort of dialogue that tells everybody what the exposition is going to be.
Yeah, showing the Death Star and Mon Mothma is clearly not enough to illustrate the timeline here. We really
I get it, but there's a lot of people out there that we see the comments that they have no idea who Mon Mothma is. They have no idea if they're building a third Death Star base, and I'm tired of it. I just want everybody to know it takes place before
Mark, I'm not talking
I
shit
don't
to
go
you.
back. I will never go back, ever.
And he don't go back.
I will argue that Darth Vader is Father of the Year. The moment he found out he had a kid, his first order of business was to go find his child. Father of the Year, my friends. However, I don't want to see any more Darth Vader whatsoever. I want to go into this movie not hanging my hat on the fact that Darth Vader is in it. I want to hang my hat on the premise alone. I want to hang my hat on the characters. I want to hang my hat on the fact that they need to get these Death Star plans, and they're probably all going to die. Darth Vader being a bonus to that, frosting, icing on the cake kind of thing. The question is whether or not having this on Doctor Strange will detract from Doctor Strange, because I remember I saw Red Dragon, and the Two Towers trailer, Lord of the Rings Two Towers, was on that. All I could think about in that movie was Lord of the Rings, and it really detracted from the movie. I didn't. The movie's good. I like it. But the Lord of the Rings detracted the hell out of it.
And look, let's call space. They can say it's attaching to Doctor Strange, and that's great. But we all know the way things work today. This movie's now going to drop online 3 or 4 days before that, and everybody's going to have seen this trailer before they go to see Doctor Strange, which is fine and great. I still look forward to seeing it on the big screen when I go to see Doctor Strange.
Right. This is not a Meet Joe Black situation where we have to go see that movie if we want to see the trailer. You're going to have seen it already, but it's going to be fun to see it on the big screen.
Absolutely. All right, folks. Well, listen, it is Thursday, which means it's time for us to talk about what is opening this week, brought to you by our friends at AMC Theaters. Now, on Tuesday, we talked about Miss Peregrine's and we talked about Queen of Kauai, but now there's 2 other major films opening this week. Natasha, tell us about them.
Okay, the first film, Deepwater Horizon, is based on the true events that occurred on an oil rig in the Gulf of Mexico on April 20th, 2010. The story chronicles the courage of those who worked on the Deepwater Horizon and the extreme moments of bravery and survival in the face of what would become one of the biggest man-made disasters in world history. And the second one we're talking about today is Masterminds. David Gant, played by Zach Galifianakis, is stuck in the monotony of driving an armored truck day in and day out. So when his work crush lures him into the heist of a lifetime, David's all in. Despite a pack of harebrained bandits and an absurdly flawed plan, David manages to steal $17 million and promptly hands it over to the gang, who just as promptly double-cross him. Forced to go on the lam, David must dodge the authorities and a hitman and try to turn the tables on his untrustworthy comrades.
All right, let's start with Deepwater Horizon.
Okay.
I pronounced on Tuesday when we talked about Queen of Kauai, I said firmly my number 4 best movie of the year so far for me personally. I love Queen of Kauai. And after seeing Deepwater Horizon, I'm not sure which one is my number 4 favorite now, because it's interchangeable to me. I mean, my top 3 in no particular order still Hell or High Water, Deadpool, Captain America Civil War, but it's so good. And I remember I was one of the guys that maybe a little bit guffawed when I heard that, that Berg was going to be doing this Deepwater Horizon with Mark Wahlberg. And I thought it was interesting that they had Jane the Virgin in it. I thought, okay, that could be interesting and stuff like that. And let's see it. I'm a sucker for true event movies. I was not prepared for how good this movie is. And it's not a horror film, but your stomach my stomach was just in knots. I watched it with these two guys, and the entire movie, my stomach was just in knots. Like, the way Berg made you as an audience member feel the terror and the fear and the sense of hopelessness that he communicates from his characters to you, the audience, was unbelievable. Mark Wahlberg is fantastic. I loved this movie. Now, before we go on to the other guys who have seen it, Schnepp, you haven't seen this movie yet. Before you just heard me spout about it, where's your expectation level been for Deepwater Horizon?
It's just been medium. I mean, the last trailer that I saw got me more into seeing it, but I still have been on the fence about seeing it. But like a lot of the reviews, including yours, a whole bunch of people have been saying it's really an incredible film. It's an incredible portrayal of this true life event. So seeing that, after I saw Sully, which I thought was an incredible film, I'm more apt to want to see this film now.
Mark, you sat there in the theater beside us. What did you think about this movie?
Just as riveted as you boys, John. I mean, I think Schnepp actually makes a great comparison because we got to see Sully and what was the guts of an event that we were aware of but really didn't know the full story. Same thing with Deepwater Horizon. And if you had any apprehension about Mark Wahlberg being the lead in this movie and whether they're going to make it like an over-the-top extreme action kind of film of him just being a hero and saving everybody, remember also it's directed by Peter Berg, who did such a magnificent job with Mark Wahlberg doing Lone Survivor together. I got the same kind of feels I got watching that film that I did with Deepwater Horizon. I didn't think it was as great at Lone Survivor, but that's a huge bar to hit for me. So I thought Deepwater Horizon was impressive. And Jeremy, one of my favorite parts about the movie is how they treat us as the audience members like we aren't aware of everything that goes into drilling for oil,
right,
and they give us just enough so we can follow along with the movie without overwhelming us with a bunch of scientific stuff.
Yeah, the movie really breaks it down for you. And the thing I liked about it is that when you see a tragedy or a disaster on camera, on the TV, on the news, you're like, oh, that fire happened. Well, I mean, that's tragic. That sucks. But you don't get the scope of it. You don't feel like you're there. You felt like you were on this oil rig. And when these things start blowing up, you're like, oh, you mean this was detrimentally horrifying for everybody there. You feel like your life's in peril. And that's what I loved about this, is the fact that you got a perspective. Cinema gave us a perspective that we otherwise never would have gotten. And that's the advantageous thing about making these biopics, is where it gives you that the boots on the ground feeling that you don't get when you're just watching the news and you're hearing about it happen. Now you get to feel it happen, and it was probably the most impactful movie of 2016 for me. You can find my more in-depth review on YouTube/Jeremy Johns.
Yeah, I was, and Wahlberg was. If you got any worries about Wahlberg at all,
oh yeah, for sure.
He's solid.
Which
in this
really
movie.
you shouldn't at this point, but for some reason we all see Mark Wahlberg, and just for a second, he just had that. Oh, I guess he's an action star. Oh yeah, no wait, he's been nominated for an Oscar. He's great.
Kurt Russell's great in it. John Malkovich is dickishly great in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really good scene. Now we go to the other side of the pendulum. Last night I had the distinct pleasure of watching the comedy Masterminds, which I had been looking forward to for years. This is a movie, of course, was supposed to come out years ago. We first talked about the trailer from... You doing okay, Jeremy? We first saw the trailer for Masterminds years ago, and I liked the trailer very much. And then it got delayed. A lot of the drama with Relativity had part of that. I don't think I'm exaggerating at all. I'm doing some self-examination here. I don't think I'm exaggerating at all. This is the worst film I've seen in years. It is the worst film I have seen in years. Nothing about this movie works. And what is really the telltale sign that you got a truly awful movie is when you got some really talented people in it, and you could tell these talented people are giving their best. You could tell Zach Galifianakis, Kristen Wiig, Owen Wilson, Jason Sudeikis. You can tell these people are trying to make something happen. They're trying to make something happen, and nothing is happening. You know, I often talk about, Jeremy talked about this in the car on the way home last night. I said, you know, with horror films, you can do everything wrong. But if you scare people and give them some, like, freak them out, you get a pass. Everything's fine. With comedy, you can do almost everything wrong, but if you make the people laugh, all is forgiven. But if you don't make the people laugh, you ain't going nowhere. And I had 3 chuckles in this movie. 2 of them are in the trailers. Through 90 minutes of something, this movie was painful. It's just a dreadful, dreadful movie. I can't recommend it for anybody, and I just can't see it being appreciated by anybody. And Schnepp, you've been watching these trailers as long as I have. So before hearing my glowing review, what's been your anticipation
You're
level?
making me really want to see it now. I mean, for some reason, I was like, man, I'm not going to see this movie. It's been delayed multiple times. It seems like it just doesn't have its shit together. But now with what you said, I really want to. No, I'm not going to see it. In fact, I'm not going to take your line, but Jeremy compared it to another film that I was ripping on and hated. He said, that makes that film an Oscar. What was Oscar winner? What was that film that you were talking about?
No, I said I would rather watch Vacation than this movie. Like,
right, the new Vacation.
Yeah, the new
was
Vacation.
horrible. Yeah.
I would rather watch that. No, seriously, there's one group of folks that I would show this movie to for a point and purpose, is because we now have something to replace waterboarding to get information out of terrorists. That's it. It's this movie right here. I swear to you. It's there's one part that I actually enjoyed. And it's the end credits. They have outtakes and you're seeing the cast have a good time. They're laughing, they're joking, they're having a good time. But it's a trick, folks. They do that to end you having a good time, so when you walk out you don't actually feel the low that you just felt. But it has nothing to do with the movie. I'm on to your tricks. Don't watch it.
Ellis?
I'm going to be the positive guy on this panel because I didn't hate the movie as much as you guys did. It's not a good movie at all. It really isn't. You can see why they were skittish about releasing it and why it took so long. I appreciate effort sometimes. That's why I love the movie Rudy so much, is he's a horrible athlete, but he tried his ass off. You're right. The actors, the players in this movie try their hardest, and I got at least one laugh out of Galifianakis, out of Kristen Wiig, out of Jason Sudeikis, out of Leslie Jones, Ken Marino, Owen Wilson. They all tried their best. I just feel like it's based on a true story that's so crazy. You don't need to try to make every scene so slapsticky funny. And that's what they were trying to do. Yeah. They tried to make a comedy on a premise that was already so weird that you didn't need to accentuate it, and that was a huge misfire. It was like making Die Hard a musical. You know, it was like making Titanic like an action movie. Just the tone didn't fit with what the story you were telling. Even though the story that you're telling has elements of comedy, you don't need to inject just like stupid jokes into every scene. The reason why I could stick with it till the end was that it was based on a true story. There were people that walked in 5 minutes after us and they didn't see the beginning of the movie when it said based on a true story. They were hating it. They were like, what are they trying to do to us? It is based on a true story, so I was at least interested, but it's not a fresh movie at all.
And it should be noted that this movie is one Melissa McCarthy short of being a Ghostbusters reunion, because everybody else was in there. Right. All right, folks, we've reached that part of the show now for buy or sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Natasha's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down. And those of us at the table are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Natasha, what do we got?
Variety reports that person of interest actor Winston Duke has landed the key role of the villain M'Baku, aka Man-Ape, in Marvel's upcoming Black Panther movie starring Chadwick Boseman. The film is directed by Creed Helmer, Ryan Coogler, and also stars Michael B. Jordan and Lupita Nyong'o. A release date is set for February 16th, 2018. Schnepp, buy or sell the character of M'Baku played by Winston Duke in Black Panther?
I buy it. I haven't heard of the actor yet, but I'm glad that they're adding this character. They're really going through the mythos and comic books of Black Panther and really putting everyone in there where you'd expect them to be in Wakanda, so I buy it.
Mark, what do you think?
I buy it, and it's interesting because of what the backstory of this character is, to where, I was talking with Riley about this before, where they might have to pare it down a little bit because the backstory is so crazy and out there that it might not fit in the MCU. So the interesting part about this is not the casting, because I'm sure Duke's going to do a great job. It's whether the hardcore fans of Black Panther will accept the fact that we had to take what was this huge, rich backstory and maybe make it a little bit smaller and more condensed for the big screen version.
Jeremy.
Yeah, I also love the fact that we have an actor that we don't know much about. I always love that. Find the talent, don't find the big name. What I know about Man-Ape is that in Marvel Heroes, that dude dishes hits and takes hits. The guy is hard to kill, but you do get your loot box if you take him down.
I'm fascinated by this because it introduces several layers and possibilities of, internal politics within Wakanda, about the back history of T'Challa's family. Because, look, so there are these two rival factions basically in there. You've got the gorilla cult and you've got the Panther cult. And it's all about like who's got the greatest warriors and stuff like that. And in the comics, actually, Man-Ape M'Baku, he's beaten T'Challa before. He's defeated T'Challa before. And then he goes on and stuff like that. And then they have another come that end up. Then Captain America comes in and he beats him and all that kind of stuff. But whatever. But it introduces us to the possibility of looking at some of the internal strife and struggle within Wakanda itself, and not just the oncoming conflict that Wakanda is about to have with the rest of the world if the U.S. decides they want that Winter Soldier dude back, and T'Challa says, he under my protection, so what are you going to do about it? You know, so I think that opens up a lot of possibilities. I just think this sounds great, so for me, it's a big buy. All right, what's next?
Okay, filming of Spider-Man Homecoming has moved from Atlanta, Georgia to Peter Parker's hometown of Queens, New York, and now a new rumor claims the film might feature yet another previously unreported villain. Nightwatch. According to Bleeding Cool, Sony employees have begun buying up any of all comic books that feature Nightwatch, which in the past, and as the site notes, has usually indicated that a character is planned for an upcoming movie. Marvel has not confirmed the character, so this is just a rumor as of now. Spider-Man Homecoming is set to hit theaters on July 7th, 2017. Jeremy, buy or sell the character of Nightwatch appearing in Spider-Man Homecoming based on this report?
I'm buying this because I'm pumped that Spawn is coming to Spider-Man. Just like Spawn. When I was a kid, I always called him Spawnish. But no, it's a cool story that... It's a cool story of a guy trying to fight his fate, and in the end, he can't do it. I love that premise innately, and if they do it well, and I really call it a suspicion, I feel like Marvel Studios will do it well. So I'm buying this one right here. Fight your fate.
Mark.
I'm going to buy that Nightwatch is going to be in the movie, but I would sell him having a lot of screen time or being like one of the main villains in here, because it's starting to get that feel that you get nervous about, because we all saw The Amazing Spider-Man 2 and they just tried to cram too much down our throats in one movie. So it does make me a little nervous hearing this, because there's so many great villains for Spider-Man to fight. We don't have to put too many of them in one movie. Now, if this is just like a shade of Nightwatch and it's teasing him for a future movie, I'm fine with that, but it would make me a little nervous if he has a huge role as yet another villain in this film.
I'm going to sell that he's going to be in it. Based on what this report is based on, Marvel's buying up comic issues and stuff like that. That's not really any indication that we know for sure he's going to be in there. It's not as if we've heard that so-and-so's agent said he's being talked to for the role of Nightwatch or anything like that. It's simply based on Marvel's buying up their own comics. So yeah, him being in there, would I be cool with that? Yeah, it's a really interesting idea. Like you said, the story of a man fighting against his own fate. I find it interesting that they're saying it would be a villainous role, because Nightwatch is a heroic role. But be that as may, in the ultimate question, I think he's actually going to be in there? No, so I sell it.
Yeah, I'll buying some back issues of Nightwatch with some kind of, maybe you think that the character's price comic book is going to go up or something, but I seriously doubt that this character is going to be nothing more than like a montage sequence of Spider-Man capturing lame villains, and this is one of them. This is one of the suckiest characters I could say. You're right, it's Spawn V.7. It's horrible. And it's a weak period in Marvel's comic book, legacy, when they were like, come up with duplicates of everything that Image is doing. This is obviously one of those. So.
You be nice to the 90s, my friend. It was a great decade.
But correct me if I'm wrong, Schnepp. I think you're being a bit pessimistic, because I think like Nightwatch came out like a full year after Spawn, so they couldn't have
copied it, could they?
No, it is a cool story though, because like he sees a costume guy die, right, and then he takes off the costume. Which, if you see somebody die, of course, let's go touch him and take his costume off.
Definitely put on his clothes.
He sees an older version of himself, and he's like, "Oh, that's me." Like if that was me, I wouldn't admit to myself that that's me. I'm like, that ain't me. I'd be like, Topher Grace looks horrible right now. It's not me. I wouldn't accept that.
All right, what's next?
According to a report from THR Blue Sky Animation, the company behind the Ice Age franchise and the most recent The Peanuts adaptation will produce a musical adaptation of Garth Nix's upcoming book, Frogkisser, a new take on the Princess and the Frog fairy tale. The film is reported to be a hybrid of live action and animation, which will follow Princess Anya, who has the unfortunate ability to break curses with a magic-assisted kiss. No release date has been set. John, buy or sell a live-action animated hybrid story based on The Princess and the Frog from Blue Sky?
Big buy for me. I think this sounds like it could be really interesting, really cool, a good family film, stuff like that. I just don't see anything in here to not feel some optimism about, so for me, it's a buy. Schnepp.
Yeah, it looks fun. I want the lead song Frogkisser to be done by like Behemoth or some death metal band. Like, Frogkisser! That's what I want.
Jeremy.
Yeah, these fairy tale live action movies are starting to find their stride, so I'm more optimistic about it now than I would have been a few years ago. But given the current state of affairs, yeah, I'll buy this.
I think I'll buy it too, just because I'm intrigued by the live action animation hybrid, and anything that's going to take Blue Sky Studios away from time to put into another Ice Age movie is good news for me. So make tons of these. Let's just forget about that annoying squirrel.
All right, what's next?
Okay, Sorry, I lost my place. Okay, according to THR, Open Road Films and the filmmakers behind Max Steel have lost their bid for a kid-friendly PG rating, with the movie confirmed to be going out with a PG-13 when it comes open in theaters on October 14th. The Classification and Ratings Administration upheld the PG-13 rating after hearing Wednesday in Los Angeles for some sci-fi action violence. Mark, buy or sell Max Steel's PG-13 rating, and will it hurt the movie?
I'll buy it. I mean, if we had to go through multiple courts or whatever the hell you have to do to get a rating, and they still give it a PG-13, there's enough science fiction violence in there. Is there a boob in Max Steel? I don't know what is in there that's keeping it
It's a
from
side
being
boob.
PG.
Side
But
boob.
man, that is going to hurt the movie even more so than the trailers already did, if that's possible. Because you're aiming this clearly at kids, even though I felt this the whole time is that it's like a Gem and the Hologram situation. It might not be as bad as Gem and the Holograms, but it's where you're marketing a movie towards kids, but I'm not sure that the kids you're marketing toward are aware of who Max Steel is or was back in the 90s. So it doesn't seem like a good step for Max Steel.
I'm going to go both ways on this. I buy that it's getting a PG-13 because when I looked at the trailer, it looks like there's going to be violence in this thing, and so a PG-13 is appropriate. But I sell that's going to affect the movie at all. This isn't like we're talking about an R risking getting an NC-17 or something that will drastically affect. I really don't think the PG to PG-13 is going to have almost any effect on this at all. Look, I go to a lot of Marvel movies, and they're PG-13, and there are a lot of parents with kids in those movies. I really don't see that this is going to be a big problem for them. Not even sure why they're making such a big fuss about it. So I buy that it should be PG-13 based on the trailer that I saw, but I sell that's going to make any difference whatsoever. Schnepp, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the only reason I'm making a fuss about it is just to get some more publicity because
maybe.
no one's
Right.
going to see this movie. It's like Ben 10 and the Guyver and a whole bunch of other mishmash things. Max Steel, I never even heard of it. So
Yeah, I'm with all of you. I'm emulating exactly what you're saying. In fact, I think they made a big deal about it to get press, and now they're going to move it back down to rated PG to get more press when people stop caring about it in about 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You stopped caring already.
During Jeremy's countdown, 100 Matchbox cars were made. Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels.
Did you know? All right, guys. Hey, listen, don't forget that Movie Talk is not the only show that's going to be on Collider Video today. Make sure you come back a little bit later today for Jedi Council, being led by Mr. Mark Ellis over here today. You're going to be running that. What time does that go up today?
Oh, God, that's today?
That's
oh, my
today.
God. It's going to be up later on this afternoon. Some very exciting stories to tackle in the world of Star Wars. And yes, we will get more in-depth as to what the new Rogue One trailer could hold for us.
And don't forget, we're going to be back again tomorrow with another episode of Movie Talk, so make sure you join us then. Don't forget, guys, we're doing the show live. We save some time at the end of the show to take your live Twitter questions. Follow us on Twitter at Collider Video and start firing in your Twitter questions now. Wendy's going to pick some out a little bit later. With that being said, it's time for us to get to Mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to address on the show, just email us anytime at collidervideo@gmail.com. We take a couple questions every single day, and we also have Mailbag on the weekends, so a whole bunch of questions get mailed there too. Maybe you'll see your question here, maybe you'll see it on Mailbag, or maybe you won't see it at all because we get a lot of questions coming in, but send them on in. So Natasha, what's in the mailbag today?
Okay, Phil writes, "Hey guys, love your shiz, and I hope your day is going smooth." I just had
He
to
likes
say it
my
like
shiz.
that. So now we know that Nick Fire is coming back for Infinity War, and that's awesome. But what if they mirror Coulson's sacrifice in the first Avengers, kill him off, and that's what brings the Avengers together again to fight Thanos? It would be oddly poetic and could lead into other organizations arising, a passing of old Avengers, trust issues to new heroes with eagerness to help, and definitively end a decade of Marvel Cinematic Adventures. I remember Mark Ellis even saying that in his day and age, no one would actually trust S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore, and that's what Fury is famous for. Honestly, the only reason I could see them not doing it is because I doubt Scarlet Witch, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, or Ant-Man would care too much, being newbies and all. What do you think? Keep rocking, guys.
You know what? I do not think at all that they're going to do that, but it's not a bad theory. The death of Coulson. Sorry. Oh, God. I didn't even see
That's
the
a
picture
horrific
before.
picture, by the way.
The death of Coulson was used, maybe not super effectively, but was used as that rally point in that first Avengers movie. The death of Fury, because Captain Rogers, while he's been angry at Fury a bunch of times, he has a real connection with Fury. Obviously, Tony Stark has a real connection with Fury. These are your kingpins on each side of the whole, Civil War thing. Were Fury to die, be killed by an agent of Thanos or something like that, that could be the spark plug. That could be the impetus to bring the both sides together. That would work. But like you're saying, it has some weaknesses to it. there are a lot of characters that have never even met Fury in this world. So how could it mean too much to them? Plus, I don't think they're looking to kill off major significant characters, especially Samuel L. Jackson. I don't think they're looking to kill him off right now, but I think it's a great theory. Jeremy, you hear this. What do you think about the theory?
Yeah, I think the Coulson, you can't kill too many characters and have that trope work too many times. Like, oh, we got to kill another guy to bring everyone together. I think the simple concept of trying to save your planet from worldwide destruction is enough to bring people together to fight the greater evil. I don't think they're going to do that. I want, at the end of all of this, when one day Marvel wraps it all up, I want to show a flash forward like decades. I want to see an old man, Nick Fury, fishing on a dock somewhere. I want him to just make it out of this alive.
What do you think, Mark?
John, Phil, the writer, levied some allegations against me that somehow I don't trust the organization known as S.H.I.E.L.D., so I have to deflect all questions about this to my lawyer, Jon Schnepp.
Hey, he don't go back. Listen, let me just say one thing.
I rest your honor.
That's right. Throw some gavels. Nick Fury already died once. It was called Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Remember that subplot with him dying and everybody thinks he's dead? They're not going to do that again. So they're definitely not going to. Nick Fury's safe. Oh, that's all I can say. He's not. There's no way he's going to die in Avengers: Infinity War.
I actually agree with Phil. I don't think it's out of the question that Nick Fury dies. It might not be the galvanizing force like, I can't believe Thanos killed our friend. Let's go get him. It might not be that simple, but him dying might be some sort of unification. If for no other reason, if Nick Fury dies, maybe we have a service for him. That's when everybody comes together and you see somebody at a funeral. You're like, you know what? We should go fight crime again.
But he already died.
He's gonna die.
No one's going to believe that he died. We're not having a service, even if they're holding his smoking head.
He's the boy who cried that died.
He's like, there's his skull. That's not him. Look at it. Look at it. It's not him. Yeah.
Well, here's a thought, though. Like, if Nick Fury died, like a lot of you guys have been, I still don't think they're ever going to move Tony Stark out of that Iron Man armor. No. I don't think they're going to do that. But a lot of you guys have been speculating, what if they did, but don't kill Tony Stark? He's still in the MCU, because so then you have the star power of Robert Downey Jr., but somebody else assumes the armor and somebody else becomes Iron Man, right? Mm-hmm. The death of Nick Fury, what that does is create an interesting vacuum where you could graduate the Tony Stark character from being Iron Man into now that head role, the organizing role of what the Avengers are. And he takes that Nick Fury position. So, I mean, I don't buy my own theory, but I mean, it's something that could happen. Right?
I would never trust Stark to run anything. The guy he created Ultron.
Yeah, the man who divided the Avengers.
He's got
and
too
Captain
many
America's
issues.
like that. He passed me up in the promotion.
He was the guy that went with the government, though, in Civil War. So you could see him maybe taking a more political stand than we would have seen Tony Stark do in the first Iron Man movie. Right. My question is, if he gets out of the Iron Man suit, which one of the Avengers gets the promotion? Because you know Hawkeye's the first guy to show up like, I'll be in the suit. I am tired of getting shot with my bare skin. I will be in the suit.
My bare skin. All right, what's next?
Okay, King of Wakanda writes, Hey Collider, how's it going? I'm a big fan. I love your shows and I look forward to them every week. Last week when John Campea said that he'd defecate himself if he saw Luke versus Knights of Ren,
I never said that.
It got me thinking. There have been some movie scenes that I've seen that have made me figuratively poop my pants. It wasn't out of excitement. Since I don't watch scary movies, my kryptonite, I don't get scared too much when watching movies.
This
but
Josh McCougar?
There have been some non-horror movie scenes that have had me want to relive myself right on the couch. Relieve myself. There we go. My question is, what are some non-horror movie scenes that scared the living daylights out of you? Thanks for taking my question. I hope you all have an amazing week.
The one, this is like there's scare as in it's creating a sense of fear, and now then there's scare like the jump scares. One that made me jump 15 feet out of my seat, but also laugh hysterically at the same time. I believe the name of the movie, correct me if I'm wrong, was Deep Blue Sea. When Samuel Jackson is standing giving his rally the troops speech, we're going to kind of, a big great white shark comes out of nowhere.
Right.
I was not expecting it. I jumped, like I swear, I jumped way out of my seat, scared the crap out of me. And then I was also giggling my full head off. So that scene is one that really stands out to me.
You know, if that's how we can off Nick Fury the second time, it might be worth it. Just have Thanos riding the shark. It'd be great. There's one, and you guys are going to laugh. It makes no sense why it scares me so much, but I got a horror movie chill watching Field of Dreams, the awesome baseball movie with Kevin Costner. And it's not because there's ghosts that come out of the cornfields, and that's a great horror movie premise. There's a scene when he drops off James Earl Jones's character, Terrence, and he's like, okay, fine, you're not going to go with me. And then he's making the U-turn in his van, and then the headlights come upon James Earl Jones just standing in the street, and he says, Moonlight Graham. And he's like, you saw it, because he saw the thing that he was supposed to see, the baseball thing. And it's just this chilling shot. And there's like they boom, there's like an insection boom right when it happens, and it gets chills head to toe every time I see that moment. It's an incredible scene.
What do you think, Jeremy?
It's a simple. Here it is. The greatest tension moment in a movie probably ever that I can think of that's not a horror movie involves Ethan Hawke, Denzel dropping him off at a house, and he's playing poker with a few guys in Training Day.
Oh yeah.
It's one of those moments I'm like, I don't know what I would do in that situation. I would be lost and I would probably die. And and my friend and I watched it because we watched the screening at like midnight, and then we got out. There's no one in the parking lot, and there was a car parked right over there in the parking lot. We're like, something's going down. We need to leave right now. It's the scariest.
Was it the shark from Deep Blue Sea?
It just came right from behind us and bit my friend in half. God rest his soul.
Schnepp.
Did someone mention Willy Wonka, or does that just happen to be up there? Because that is a frightening.
No, that's the tunnel scene. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, the nightmare sequence where it's like, come with me, and it's all like chickens getting their heads cut off. And weird. That's definitely nightmarish. That's not my pick, though. I just was wondering, why is Willy Wonka floating ominously behind us all? Definitely see that movie if you never saw it. But mine is 12 Years a Slave, and it's when Chiwetel Ejiofor is being strangled.
Oh yeah.
He's standing on his tippy toes, and it made me frightened, but emotionally, just I felt so bad for humanity, like that we did that to other people. That's like a true kind of horror. I don't know about scared poop in my pants type of scare, but it's more about scared about other people being so cruel to each other. So
I love that yours was like a super heartfelt, like in the grand spectrum of humanity, and mine was straight up fight or flight. Thank you, Schnepp.
right on.
All right, guys. Well, I said we'd save some time at the end of the show to take your questions via Twitter, and we're going to do that right now. Once again, make sure you follow us on Twitter at Collider Video. Wendy, what have you picked out for us today?
This one comes from Michael Beltrain. He says, with practically everything getting a movie, how long till we get a Funko movie, and would you want one?
Oh, wow. Well, here's the thing. You do a Funko, I'm assuming you're talking about their specific line, their Pops.
Yep.
A Funko Pops movie, you can literally now do about anything because they've got Funko Pops for everything. I mean, if you can do a Lego Batman movie,
right.
why can't you do a Funko Pop Green Lantern movie or a Funko Pop Spiderman movie? I mean, why can't you? And you can do something, you can write whatever script you want around it and then just have it as Funko Pops. I'd be down for it. I think it's probably, look, the IP is so recognizable and they're so popular right now. I could see a studio going, this is something worth rolling the dice on and see what happens with. I don't know, Schnepp, what do you think?
I think it's a fantastic idea. I'd rather see a Funko Pops movie than an emoji movie. So you got my money, Funko. Go do it.
They already made one. It's called Captain America Civil War. They took all these characters that Funko made and they put them in a giant movie together. It was awesome. Y'all should check it out.
I want to see that.
Just it's kind of like The Woods becoming Blair Witch. Captain America Civil War?
Whoa.
It's actually Funko Pop Civil War.
I think it's just too. I think it's just too similar to Lego. Honestly, like what they would do is too similar to what the Lego movie did. I'm not ruling out a cameo by some Funko Pops in a Lego movie, just to have them like kind of walk in and be like, "What the hell's going on here?"
Jeremy?
I think it'd be great because I like a competitive world, and I'd love to see a world where Lego Movie has competition. And so Funko's like, oh, we need to step up our game and make the movie better because of Lego Movie. And then Lego's like, we probably don't because the Lego Movie was already rad. But yeah, I would totally be down for that. I'd like to see what Funko could do, and I think they could do some good stuff.
That's the
and,
only one that has any real competition. They've got a Pez movie
absolutely.
with like people with like heads with that have to hop around. It's like, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And it would be different writers, so you have different type of humor. So it wouldn't necessarily emulate the Lego Movie. I'd be down for that for sure.
If you can make a Monopoly movie, then you can make a Funko Pop movie. Okay, what's next?
All right. Christian Thorpe says, who do you want to be the subject of the next biopic?
Well, I mean, there's one of the ones I've been asking for a long time, and I think I heard one might be in the works. I'm not sure. I've always thought a biopic on Jim Henson would be excellent. Like because it's not just the guy who did the Muppets. Yeah, that's cool. No, when you look at the life of Jim Henson, you understand everything he went through to even establish what the Muppets were and all that kind of stuff, going all the way then up to the Dark Crystal and what that did. Because I love the Dark Crystal. I think a biopic on the life of Jim Henson would be really interesting. What do you think?
Well, now you said Jim Henson. I was going to say that. No, I'm just kidding. I was going to say Lincoln, but they already made that. About Ben Franklin. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I got to think about it. Carl Sagan would be mine.
Would be an interesting one. What do you think?
When I've said this before, think back when it was AMC Movie Talk. Robert Johnson, one of the great guitar players of all time, maybe the inventor of the modern day blues. He was the legend of the song Crossroads that he wrote about how he went down to the crossroads and sold his soul to the devil so he could play guitar well. It'd be an incredible story you could take in any direction you wanted to, but the mythology there is almost as good as the real stuff.
Jeremy?
Nikola Tesla. Tesla versus Edison, winner take all. We'll get that figured out and finally put to rest now. I'd love to see that.
That'd be great.
All right, what's next?
Sebastian Fila says, what do you think about a Star Wars story retconning the midichlorians as a leftover of someone using the Force?
I can't really do it. I mean, it is as canon gets now, unfortunately. So, I mean, you can't retcon it. The best you can do is just kind of ignore it, which is, I think, it kind of feels is what their strategy is at this point. You simply can't retcon. They're saying those movies are solid, in concrete, steel hard canon, and I'm cool with that. I mean, just ignoring it is really the only strategy.
Did they ever, like in the Jedi chambers, have some? I remember they had some device that could measure or like the weight, like how many midi-chlorians you have. Did they ever make a drink out of it, where you could have like a midi-chlorian shake or anything like that?
Very fizzy.
Because I would drink a midi-chlorian.
Makes you very gassy.
You do not want to. It's like drinking Coke and Pop Rocks at the same time. It might make your head explode.
All right.
My brother and I have talked about this before, where I think the way to go if you were going to wreck it is not straight out say it doesn't happen, but it's like almost like how scientists used to believe that the Earth was flat, and that was just what we assumed. And then as advances in science went on, it said no, it actually ends up being round. So we thought that we were tracking midichlorians as a measurement for force power, but maybe it just was something else. I don't think they're ever going to do that. I think I would have to agree with John. You just don't touch it.
Yeah, this world does exist in a galaxy where their scientific advancements couldn't save a girl from dying of a broken heart. So I'd love to see a world where they're like, we thought midichlorians were real. I guess they're not. Man, it's science. The reality of the situation is just ignore it. Put your head in the sand like an ostrich, like it never happened.
Right. All right, let's take two more.
All right, Bruce Heinrich says, what supervillain would you be and for Wendy and Natasha too?
What supervillain? I mean, my favorite comic book character of all time is Magneto. I think Magneto is the most fascinating character when you look at him and his history, his motivations, what he's been through, what brought him to being Magneto. So I would have to pick Magneto.
So this is what supervillain we think we are?
Or would you be if you got to choose?
I mean, look, I would audition for the Joker, and I would not get the part because my jokes are just too cheesy and too obvious and too hammy, so they would give me the Riddler costume. And you can be Joker.
Yeah, Joker's kind of Jeremy's thing.
I feel like someone's baiting me into saying the Joker, but I would totally love to be the Joker. I mean, come on, who wouldn't love to be
you
the
dressed
Joker?
up as the Heath Ledger Joker as Halloween one time, right?
It was for the release of The Dark Knight. I actually grew my hair out and everything. It wasn't as douchey as it is now, but I kind of got it down. I made the scars. It was crazy. But I loved the Joker. My senior quote was, if you got to go with a smile. I loved the Joker all my life. I'd love to be that.
Schnepp, if you got to be a supervillain tomorrow, which one would you be?
I'd be Dr. Doom.
I knew you were going to say that.
Without a question of a doubt. Not the corny one with electrical powers from the movie, the comic book version. Charge of Latveria. What's up?
What about you guys over there? Wendy, which supervillain would you be if you could?
Supervillain. She doesn't have any superpowers, but I would pick Cersei Baratheon.
Oh, okay. That works. What about you, Natasha?
I would pick Poison Ivy because I think she's like the hottest supervillain, and I would totally rock the red hair.
You would rock red hair.
She's not unattractive, I'll tell you that much.
All right, last question of the day.
All right, this one comes from Boozas. Andriel says, do you guys think that movie websites are still needed for marketing campaigns?
Yes, they are. I think. Look, need is a strong word, but I think are they still really, really beneficial? Yes. I mean, so anything that you can do to spread awareness, hopefully positive buzz, preferably for your thing. And movie website. Look, movie websites are plugged into the most hardcore of moviegoers. The average movie fan will read a movie website once in a while, but if you got a movie website that's got like 1, 2, 3 million readers per month, those are people who go to movies. So those are the people you really want to get to go to your movie, because now then when they go to the movies, they bring their friends who may not read movie websites. So yeah, I believe it's a very, I'm not going to say need, but I'm going to say I think it's still a very important cog in the whole marketing machine of movies. What do you guys think?
I'm a little confused. So I'm going to address both. If they're talking about movie talk-ish websites, then yeah, I mean that's pretty much what we do. And obviously, thank you all for watching. But if they're talking about like the website for the movie itself, you know, like the specific website for the Avengers,
SnakesOnAPlane.com.
I haven't been to one of those in years.
Oh, like
so,
official sites.
Yeah, I don't know which one they're talking
That's
about.
how I read the question. Is like
Yeah.
official movie sites, because sometimes they
Yeah,
are very
that's different.
interactive. Like
Yeah.
I know the Jurassic World site you can actually go to and play around. I think it'd be great if there's like a historical period piece, like about the Revolutionary War or something, that they hook up with Ancestry.com and you can see what your ancestors were doing at the time that these events in the movie are going on. But I don't think it's necessary, other than it legitimizes your movie, because if you see, just as a fan, you see, oh, they have their Twitter handle, here's that, and they have a website. It just looks more official, so it dresses the movie up.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very interesting way to look at the question, because if that's what they're asking, I'll be honest, I never go to the official movie websites anymore. The last time I did was actually a really cool little thing Independence Day Resurgence did, where they had this cool app on their website where you type in your home address, then you give it about 30 seconds, and it pulls up like a Google image street view of your house, but what it would look like after the alien invasion.
Nice.
And it's all like ruins and fire, but you can clearly see that's your house.
That's cool.
That was pretty cool, but other than that, like I never go to the official movie websites.
Yeah, the question is about that. Yeah, I think official movie websites are made literally the same way. They're like, oh, we've just got our clearance, and we do the website, we just register it so that no one else takes our official name and makes a website for it. So it's sort of like a, you know, staking your claim on the name of the website type of a thing.
It's
So
a flag on the moon. It
it's
doesn't
not
really mean.
It doesn't mean anything.
Right.
But you could go there and there might be a trailer.
Yeah,
So-
social media gives you anything that those will, and
Yeah.
social media is way bigger. So.
All right, folks, that'll do it for us for this installment of Collider Movie Talk. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, guys, the most important part of the show is not what we have to say, it is what you have to say. Jump into the comments section, leave your thoughts on any or all of the topics that we discussed here today. I want to thank the guy sitting first at the table with me over here, Mr. Jon Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you online?
You can find me not going back at Jon Schnepp, and just on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll be at the New York Comic Con this coming week, next week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at booth 309. Definitely come by, say hi, and we're doing a Collider Heroes panel that Thursday, the first day of New York Comic Con. I think it's room 1A24, so come on by at 11:15 and hang out.
Over here, Mr. Mark Ellis. Mark, where can people find you?
At New York Comic Con, I am the sanitation manager of booth 309, as it turns out, so you're welcome for that. You guys can find me later today on Jedi Council, and then tonight, the Schmoes Know Live show. We have special guest comedian John Caparulo, and of course, the huge Ultimate Schmoedown matchup between myself, Baby Carrots, and Josh McCouga, who I plan on eating, pooping out, and flushing down the toilet tomorrow right here on Collider Video.
Mr. Jeremy Johns, where can people find you?
You can find me on YouTube at Jeremy Johns, Instagram, Twitter, also at Jeremy Johns. This wrap-up brought to you by 1000 Hot Wheels.
Of course, over there we've got Natasha and Wendy. Natasha, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at NatashaLexis_.
And Wendy.
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Wendy Lee Zaney.
And of course, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Just follow me at John Campea. And make sure you subscribe to Comic Con HQ, where Jon Schnepp and I have our show, Film HQ. New episodes every Saturday. That'll do it for us, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. My name's Jon Campea, and until next time, bye-bye.
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.